Hello, welcome back to the FNG podcast. I'm Manny, and this is my brother.
Anthony.
It's been a lot going on in the last few days since our last conversation. Manchester United signed Benjamin Sesko. Yeah, he's gonna be a monster in the Prem. Let's begin by talking about transfers. I know everybody's trolling Newcastle. However, just to be on the more balanced side of this conversation, this is part of the things Newcastle has to have to go through to make that jump from being a regular wannabe contender or pretender to being a big top, a top team, right? So you're just not going to go overnight and just start buying or attracting of the best players. You need to make the Champions League three times in a row, four times in a row, five times in a row. Start making some runs. So, they're going to be a threat if say clubs like Manchester United does not shape up in a way, right? So just to put that out there, I mean, the banter is fun. However, you can see what they're trying to accomplish. But that's so. I want to end it by saying we got Shesko and they didn't.
I
So
mean, they didn't get a lot of players.
I'm still petty about that. But I mean,
Yeah,
they did get it. Let's talk about how many players they actually didn't get.
about six.
Man, that's tough.
They didn't get Sheshko. They didn't get Kitike. They didn't get go for Yokash. There's another forward that they wanted to get that they didn't get. Isak doesn't want to be there. There's about three other players, about six players in total.
Uh-huh.
Mohamed Kudus.
Uh-huh.
They didn't get Mohamed Kudus.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Well, so I think what they have shown is they have ambition, right? Because going for this kind of players, you've got to be ambitious. You want to continue to do well in the Prem, and you also want to compete in the Champions League, right? So Premier League football is always tough. It challenges everybody. Doesn't matter who it is. And Champions League is Champions League. Apart from money that's involved in the Champions League, we're also talking about prestige of going deeper into the competition, and then maybe even beating some really good teams. So it's definitely a big deal. Speaking of outgoings, any outgoings on Arsenal side?
Nothing I would know. I expect Reece Nelson to leave. I think
What
Trossard is
position
going
does
to
Reed
leave.
Nelson? I mean, but Nani Madueke is also a right winger, and
That's
you
one
guys have
area.
no backup. One area is going to play right wing. I thought it was
One is probably going to end up playing right wing, especially because the still rumors they were bringing in Easy.
there's a possibility you guys sign this.
Yeah, so
Okay,
if we don't
well,
sign Easy, maybe we hang on to Leandro. Or I think Leandro will leave. I know that. That looking to offload Reece for sure. They're looking to we might lose Kivior. That's why they
okay.
signed in Mosquera. We might lose Kivior, but we'll see how it plays out. We already lost Tomiyasu, so I don't think there's going to be a lot more changes. I think in January we'll see one of the forwards leave. I think Jesus will leave, but right now I think this
This
team's
is
pretty much
still
set.
injured right now, so he can't leave
He's
right
still
now.
injured. I think he's supposed to be back in like December or something. So
Okay, that makes sense. On Man United's part, there's quite a few outgoings. Start from the defense. Let's see, defense. Personal preference that I'd like to see outgoing is not the same as the players that are going to be outgoing. So let's stick with what we know to be true. Bomb squad is one, for example. The bomb squad: Malacia, Jadon Sancho, Rashford's already gone to Barcelona,
Anthony,
Garnacho, and Anthony. Right, so Anthony is still holding out for Betis. I'm hoping we can get a good fee there. Garnacho is probably going to end up at Chelsea. But no, I have no idea, no earthly idea, none whatsoever about Malacia. I don't even know who's looking at him.
is he linked to anybody?
Bro, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard a single thing about Tyrell, bro. Crazy. And then Rasmus looks like
AC
AC
Milan.
Milan. I've been reading some conflicting reports. At first, I thought it was full on sale. Then I also saw about Man United wanting loans. Nobody really knows at this point. All I know is the board need to get rid of some players quick because that squad needs a central midfielder. Hopefully, it's Baleba. I'm still not sure how to pronounce his name. I've heard Baleba, I've heard Baliba, but I've really heard Baliba from people who really suck and struggle with pronouncing names. So I'm going to go with Baliba. Plus, it's an African name, so Baleba, I think. Baleba. Yeah. So I really don't know. And I have a huge trepidation right now with negotiating this late in the transfer season with Brighton.
I mean, the thing, the end of the day, Brighton don't really bring down the prices.
So I guess
You
just
usually pay what they ask
just
for.
meet their asking price.
So yeah,
But this is a situation where they actually don't want to sell Baleba this summer.
yeah, they don't.
So how do you even get the player?
You might not be able to.
Okay,
That's why I
then
think you need alternative measures. You guys need to look at other measures
right.
around the league.
So around the league, who's there?
There's Brentford.
Brentford, you took their best holding midfielder in Christian Norgard.
Is it on Damsgaard though?
Damsgaard is an attacking midfielder. Mikel Damsgaard is an attacking midfielder.
That's true. So who can he, around the league can you get? Amadu.
He's not living Villa. He loves good evening.
He loves Unai.
He loves Unai.
Amadu would work.
Why do I still call him? No, he loves Unai. I was Bruno Guimaraes. Osajo Tonali. Bro, can you imagine the Saints if United do something like that? I promise you, Newcastle they would reject that bid in a second.
Newcastle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Newcastle will reject that bid yesterday. They hate United right now. So
it's not United's fault that the players are choosing.
Well, okay, check this out. I read the entire saga on the Athletic website app on how United got Chesko. So the negotiation from Newcastle's point of view, they don't have a director of football or director of transfers because we took that DOF and we fired him 5 months and we fired him 5 months after he was hired. So this whole thing is kind of
so he didn't go back.
No, this whole thing.
So who's been negotiating for them?
Some guy, I forget his name. I read it in the article yesterday. Some guy's just been in there and negotiate on behalf of Newcastle, and I guess that's why the move looked so amateurish, bidding for a player that you don't know wants to come to you or not. And then Man United waited for the player to commit before they placed the bid. So now the pressure is on Leipzig to do something, right? So they have every right to blame Man United because we took that DOF for their entire planning and everything, to go well, and then it comes to United and he gets fired, and so they have no director.
But at least they got a center back that Newcastle. Speaking of Newcastle, their defense is going to be really good.
Malik Theo is really good.
Especially when you play Malik Theo with Sven Botman, with Livramento and Lewis Hall.
That's a good team. I think their problem is not their starting 11.
And they got Ramsdale too.
Their starting 11 is really not a problem. You know that, right?
What's starting 11?
So if you take out Isak and maybe you replace Isak with somebody else, that might bring the quality down. But for the most part, in the midfield, you have Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joelinton. Then you have Gordon
and Barnes.
Or Elanga now. Right? So it could be Gordon, it could be Elanga, Barnes, Gordon up front if you take out Isak. But it's Gordon, Elanga, and Isak. So if you take out Isak, because they need two strikers. So now I think they're looking to sign in Samu Aguewa from Porto and Johan Wissa from Brentford. So I think they're going to be fine, honestly. They're going to be good.
They should be.
And Eddie Howe is a good coach. They're going to be fine. I expect them to be good. I expect them to be good.
Yeah.
Can you compare, or how would you compare Arsenal's transfer window this summer to United's?
I think Arsenal's been much better.
Why would you say that?
I think because of the levels of recruitment, and what's most important about Arsenal did this summer is not even who they signed, is who they re-signed. Extended Luis Kelly, extended Ranieri, extended Gabriel, centre back Magalhaes, and then you get a replacement for Thomas Partey. You add Zubimendi to the squad. You bring in competition for Madueke. For Martinelli, who can also assist on both flanks. You build a very good second team because you can afford to bring a player of Kai Havertz quality off the bench, or bring Madueke or Martinelli off the bench, and you can rotate your defense because now if Calafiore isn't playing, or there's so much depth, and that's something I depth before. Manchester United is just in the first phase of whatever it is that are building on the
rebuild. Yeah, so
I think they added goals, so I'm happy for that. But
in United's conversation, the sheer fact that the club finished 15th, anything much higher than that is a massive improvement. However, what's really changed, right? So United considered 54 goals and scored 44 goals. Now, you hear 54 goals, you think it's a problem. However, that's 3 more goals conceded than sixth place Villa. So the real problem with the team
They
was
were
scoring
scoring.
goals, right?
Mhm.
So you're trying to tell me if we scored more goals, I think Villa ended up scoring. Villa was about plus 20 on their goal difference. So if they considered 51 plus 20 means they scored
71.
71. We scored 44. So 54, 64, 74 is about 27 goal difference.
Yeah.
So by the time you sign in Bumo that gave you 20 Premier League goals plus 17 Premier League goals, that's already 37. So that covers
All the deficiencies.
all of the deficits. I said, I was going to say Brian, not Brian Shesko now. Benjamin Shesko is most likely, let's say, 10 Premier League goals, one every
Nah, he's
three
doing a lot more
games.
than that.
Well, I'm taking a happy medium,
Okay.
but yeah, that's a lot of goals. So now, while we're not probably going to challenge at the top of the league, we're mostly going to be somewhere within the best of the rest.
That'll be about between 6 to 9.
Right? So I'm thinking somewhere between 6 and 9
Yeah.
is kind of where they're going to be, which is
Conference League spot.
which is really in a daunting statement to make about Manchester United. 6 to 9.
Yeah, I think at some point we need to realize that everybody that is good now is going through that cycle. Liverpool, they were before they became what they are now. They were at some point just mid-table. Arsenal mid-table, Chelsea mid-table. Manchester City wasn't even relevant to 2011.
Right. Okay, so do me a favor. Can you explain based off of the signings that you just said, giving the team depth and balance across the squad, could you explain what you believe Mikel Arteta's tactics going into the season might look like?
Mostly it's going to be the same. I believe the change we'll see this year it's pretty unpopular, but I think Yuri Timber plays left back for us this season.
Then who plays right?
Benjamin White.
Really?
From the preseason, what I've seen, Benjamin White and Bukayo Saka work better than Yuri Timber and Bukayo Saka. Yuri Timber is very good helping us on the offense, same as Calafiori. The problem with our left wing is nobody helps the left winger. They try, but I believe because of what Timber can do offensively with Martinelli's work rates, I think it's going to be Yuri Timber and we're at fullbacks. I think the midfield we know is going to be Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. That's not changing. On the left wing, I think Martinelli starts the season and 5 weeks, 6 weeks in Madueke will take the starting spot from him. And we're going to be more of a crossing team
And
on the left side.
And Martinelli starts. Why over Noni?
Because Noni is new to the team. Okay. That's the only reason. And I also think it's because until Martinelli does something like just bad, it's very hard for Mikel to drop him because Martinelli, the work he does for Arsenal, I mean, as fans, we don't want him to start because he doesn't score enough goals, doesn't produce enough goals. But when you think about his work holistically, he's very important to the way we defend. Martinelli is extremely important to how we defend. He protects our fullbacks a lot because people forget that, especially on the left side, those guys are in the middle of the field half the game. So Martinelli is the one really playing that wing, So it's going to be hard. I think at the end of the day, we're going to see an Arsenal team that is playing more to the striker this year.
That's something I was going to bring up as well. How will your team be used to a center forward who actually makes penetrating runs behind defenses?
Okay, so according to the reports I've seen for the last 3 years, this is funny because the last 3 years, Mikel has built his team for everything happened was on Gyökeres. The thing is, the way Gyökeres plays, he's not the most. So what Mikel wanted to add to the team was an athletic, aerial dominant forward.
I don't know if I'd put Gyökeres as.
But now, that's why those changes matter because the few games I've seen Gyökeres play, Gyökeres is just a very powerful Gabriel Jesus. People don't see it that way because people don't see.
Now that's a big call.
People don't see it that way, but if you see how Gyökeres plays, it's not as direct as people.
What? No, okay, you know what? I disagree right. There is no way you're gonna say that. I disagree right there. You're talking about the same Victor Gyökeres that we all watched for Sporting?
Yes.
No, you're smoking something right now. No way.
So Jesus, if you watch the game we played today, if you watch the game we played against who did we lose to? Villarreal, Gyökeres, players like Šeško, Haaland, They don't leave the middle of the field. They're there all day.
Well, but I'll let you carry on. Go ahead.
Gyökeres sometimes drifts out to the side. You see sometimes when the last two games I've seen, he's interchanged with Martinelli to the middle. He drifts out to the side. So he's a focal point, but he's a very technical player. He's very technical. He's a very good player. He's better than Jesus, but when I say that he's not as direct, people think when I say directness, he's not Haaland.
No,
he doesn't play like Haaland.
I'm gonna be honest. I absolutely disagree with you for sure. There's no way. We're talking about the same Benjamin Sesko that we saw just constantly. Sorry, Gyökeres. I apologize. Victor Gyökeres constantly threatening defenses, getting behind defenses, shooting from all angles, just trying to be a pest and a menace all the time. You're saying that is not as direct as...
No, he's more direct than Jesus.
Okay, well, I'm
comparing him to the likes of Haaland. He's not Haaland.
So
Sesko is more Haaland than Gyökeres. I don't think Gyökeres can play.
Okay, so that's different. We've not really known Victor Gyökeres to be
the two games I've seen is just much more physical to look for channels to run into.
You know what? I'm going to leave this one up to y'all. I'm very curious. I want to know what y'all think about that statement. I think it's actually preposterous. That's the word I'm looking for. At all. But I could be tripping. So y'all let us know for sure. Put your ideas and your thinking, put them in the comments. I'd really love to read everybody's comments on this one. For Man United's tactics, we had this conversation over lunch, right? And I told you that I feel like Amorim is building this United like first full season Klopp, right? So it's just straight up pace, raw power, and just getting after it, right? However, as fit as they've become in comparison to last season, they still don't have the legs in midfield. Look at the midfield conundrum. Let me break it down for you this way. All right, let's say you put Onana in goal, right?
That's who you put in goal.
Well, I want to put Hitton in goal.
Okay, fair enough.
He's probably going to put Bayindir in goal, which for me is about the same thing as putting a basket in goal. All right, so let's assume you put Onana in goal or Hitton. Those are the two I'll take. You're on the right, De Ligt in the middle, and Heaven on the left, maybe Shaw. The squad he picked today is what I think that's the squad he's going to pick against Arsenal.
What squad he picked today?
So that's what so he picked Bayindir. You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't watch the game. It was very early at 6:45 in the morning. So I think I just saw the lineups. So I might be wrong.
I watched
about one or two names. However, that's what I mostly did see. But I did watch the highlights. Even on the Man U TV app, you're watching the play go on, and that entire middle, you cannot progress the ball through the middle. We're talking about Mr. Hollywood Pass that doesn't really play short passes and only wants to hoof the ball going long in Fernandez, right? I didn't have to mention his name. You know what I'm talking about. Or you have Mr. Hollywood 2.0, who also likes one-touch passing over the top to the corner in Casemiro. Okay, let's say you want to play defend with a high intensity. You put Ugarte. When your opponents let United have the ball, how do you progress the ball? How do you have central progression with Ugarte and Bruno in your midfield? Okay, you decide to go for central progression in your midfield and you play Maino with Fernandez. When you lose the ball, how do you counter press with both of them in your central midfield? So you see the issue. What we need is the press resistance of Maino, the front-footed aggression of Ugarte, and the defensive smarts and offensive prowess would be, I'd say, the shrewd offensive prowess of Casemiro. So I'll group it up again. Press resistance, short passing of Maino. Front-footed defending, aggressive tackling style of Ugarte, and shrewd offensive intent of Casemiro. We need one player to embody all three.
I think Baleba has that.
And that's the reason why I feel like Baleba is the guy, because he's good in first phase, can take the ball, move the ball, can carry the ball. One of the things that all the three midfielders I just mentioned to you, even Maino can't do, is carry the ball at pace. Pick up the ball. Maino is a pocket boy. Move the ball around, one touch move, carrying the ball, beating players, putting defenders on the back foot, right?
Defensively, it's different.
But defensively, they touch on you, go down, ref's just gonna call
Play
play on, and your team is getting counterattacked.
Yeah.
So that's the issue that I'm having. And I don't see how you can mix and match your midfield into being competitive in the Prem. Because the minute you do one thing in midfield, the other team will see it and counter. Yeah. But if you have a Baleba and Bruno, now somebody can get the ball from the defenders, link the play, carry out of defense, get it to Bruno. While he's making his first run, Bruno can find the players, and now the team is going. One thing I did take that was really good from the preseason was how direct and dynamic the offense was. So the offense, even today, I saw a few clips and I watched some extended highlights. The offensive moments are very dynamic. Brian Mbeumo is a peach of a cross. My God. All we needed today to win this match was a 6'5" striker in the near post to put the ball home. But he wasn't playing, right? So I really like the team, but it's very incomplete, and it's incomplete in the most important position. You know, I've always thought the number 6 is the most important position in the field because you're the metronome, you're the link between defense and offense. So it's a very important spot to be missing. Now, okay, you've paid nearly £200 million for offense, but if you can't get the ball from here to them, then what's going to happen? There's only one ball. Yeah. Right? So that's the main issue I'm having. Next question for you. Who's your sleeper team? You know, you said 2 years ago, you told me, before we even started talking, having the podcast, you had told me that every year, because of how competitive the Premier League is, that one team will underperform and one team will overperform. Yeah. Who are your picks this year? Putting you on the spot, I know.
Overperform?
One on one. Underperform and overperform.
Underperform is Nottingham Forest.
Underperform is Nottingham Forest?
Yes.
Okay. I know.
Overperform?
Man United?
Nah. Mine cannot overperform with your circumstances.
Without what?
Your circumstances don't have anything else to depress. You guys are playing once a week.
Well, we might play 2 times a week when there's FA Cup and Carabao Cup.
Listen to this, man, yo.
Hey, man, listen, man. You got to give me something here.
Overperform.
Yeah, overperform.
All the tinies we've all seen this season. It's not Newcastle. It's going to be Spurs.
Overperform Spurs? They're the Champions League.
Yeah, that's what they can't be Spurs.
I mean, technically, they could overperform because they finished lower than us in the league. They were 16th.
Actually, I take it back. Underperform is Aston Villa.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Aston Villa is underperforming.
Okay, that's a good one.
I know Good Evening well enough to know he's gonna crash this year.
That's funny.
Overperform is what I can't put my finger on. I'm trying to run through the list of teams in the league. It's not Wolves. It's none of the new boys. Nah, it's none of the new boys. Overperform.
Okay, if Chelsea won the league, would that qualify as an overperformance?
Yes.
So could it be Chelsea?
It is not happening. They're not in the league. It's not happening. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm bottom half of the team the last year. Fulham.
Overperform?
I like Fulham.
You're thinking they're going to get a European place?
Yes. I like Fulham.
I can see that.
I like Fulham.
It's your answer, so I
got so many teams that underperform. I don't even see
Bournemouth. Actually, I have an underperform for you.
Who you got?
Brentford.
They lost everybody. Bournemouth. They lost everybody on defense.
No, underperform. Relegation. Brentford.
You don't have no forward line.
Bro, relegation. Brentford.
Yes.
Brentford.
They lost Frank too.
No Frank. No Norberg. No Mbeumo. No Yohan Wissa. Underperforming. I'm taking Brentford.
And overperform, actually, my answer to Everton.
Overperforming?
Everton.
Ooh, okay.
Straight to Everton.
Okay. Alright. Okay, I can see that. Alright.
I'm thinking of it.
Second place trophy for the last 3 seasons. You don't think they're jaded and they might actually slip?
They're not jaded, and here's why. People forget that the last 2 years, the reason why Arsenal came second, the 2 years before last year, we had one injury that killed us.
2 years for last year?
3 years ago.
Oh my God.
The last 2 seasons. That's what I meant. I said the last 2 years. The last 2 seasons. I mean, 3 seasons ago and 2 seasons ago. Not last season. Last season, we had no shot winning that. 3 seasons ago, we lost Thomas Partey in the crunch. We had no substitutes. We used Sambi. Sambi wasn't good enough. It's just what it is. But this year, I think we actually have depth to, when we lose key players, the drop-off in quality won't be as bad as going from Partey to Lokonga, or going from Saka to Nelson, or not having a striker at all. So the depth is so much different.
All right. From an outsider's perspective, what do you think the season's expectation for Ruben Amorim would be? Top 8 or bust? Do you think he should lose his job if he does not
No,
get top 8?
not lose his job. It depends how he gets ill.
So he gets same thing for
Arsenal.
What's your season expectation for Arsenal?
If they're gonna make a major trophy, he needs to go.
Okay, assuming this is 2026 August, or let's say 2026 summer, June, May, whatever, and that trophy has not been secured, or that major trophy has not been secured, who right now, off the top of your head, do you see replacing him?
That's my problem. But I think if I had to go anybody, I'd go Cesc.
This early in his career?
I mean, we signed Mikel as a rookie with no management record at all.
He was an assistant. You know what? You're right. He was an assistant manager for Pep.
Yeah.
And this one's actually a head coach in the Serie A. All right. Okay, I see that. Well, please share, like, and subscribe. Comment your opinions. We really want to know what you guys think. We'll be back with top 20 finish. We're going to rank them in order from 20 to 1 and see what's going to happen. We're going to talk about
one is Arsenal, 20
season. It's more like this. No, it's more like this.
25 goals this season, bro.
Anyway, thank you.